Where are you bound?
Bound for Canaan land.
Oh, you must not lie.
You must not steal.
You must not take Yah's name in vain. I'm bound for Canaan land.
Your horse is white, your garment's bright. You look like a man of war. Raise up your head with courage bold, for your race is almost run.
Hallelujah.
Where are you bound?
Bound for Canaan land.
Oh, you must not lie.
You must not steal.
You must not take Yah's name in vain. I'm bound for Canaan land.
Although you see me going on, I'm bound for Canaan land. I've had trials on these shores, but I'm bound for Canaan land.
Hallelujah.
Where are you bound?
Bound for Canaan land.
Oh, you must not lie.
You must not steal.
You must not take Yah's name in vain. I'm bound for Canaan land. Bound for Canaan land. Bound for Canaan land.
Oh, Mary, don't you
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
Oh, Mary, don't you
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
As Israel stood by the waterside, at the command of Yah it did divide.
Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
Oh, Mary, don't you
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
As they reached the other shore, they sang the song of triumph of o'er.
Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
Oh, Mary, don't you
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
Pharaoh said he would go across, but Pharaoh and his host were lost.
Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
Oh, Mary, don't you
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
Oh, Mary, don't you
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, don't you weep.
Oh, Mary, don't you
Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you mourn. Pharaoh's army got drowned. Oh, Mary, oh, Mary, oh, Mary, don't you weep, don't you
I'd like to extend the peace of the God of Israel to each and every one of you. And welcome you once again to the Holy Convention of NCCI that Yahweh Elohim has seen fit to sit here in Atlanta. Truly, the Spirit of God has been merciful to us So let us always find the time to give him his time, because he's the one that gives us our time. Many people have desired to know a lot of things that you know, but they don't know those things simply because it's Yahweh's choosing and not ours. We do a lot of work trying to get people to read the Word of God, to just look at the Word of God. But then, unless the angel of the Lord come upon them and give them the power to hear this word, then truly our work is in vain. But thanks be to the God of Israel that his name is being glorified in this city through NCCI and many other groups that surround us talking about Yahshua and Yahweh Elohim. But we know one thing. The proof at NCCI is in the pudding. Today, many people sort of tumble into whatever lifestyles they have which show what their destiny is. Truly, man does not choose Yahweh because Yahweh is the author, the molder, and the finisher of the names that are written in the Lamb's Book of Life. So be careful to retain the natural and spiritual things we hear in our journey, because Yahweh's power is in the process of purging the bugs out of your software. All of us were created with built-in bugs. But if we attend to the things of the Spirit, then truly, one day, we shall walk upon the mountains of Zion. But Brother Steve, read the oracles of the church and invite him who stands at the door, that he may come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may continue to read it out of this great legacy and consider what we read, that we might do what's necessary to be saved.
I'm going to read the oracles of the church beginning at 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man have received a gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim giveth, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim, for the anointed one's sake, have forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim as dear children, and walk in love, as the anointed one also have loved us, and have given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be one's name among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks.
Amen.
Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the church.
Amen. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the church and Holy Convention. Now, the last time I did a class, we came up to the end of Deuteronomy at the death of Moses and the charge of Moses upon Yeshua, who was the son of Nun, who was a sort of deliverer that took the people into the land and gave them their inheritance in the land. And what I like to do today, I'd like to start our class in the book of Joshua, Joshua chapter 1, Yeshua chapter 1 and verse 1.
Joshua chapter 1, verse 1. Now after the death of Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, it came to pass that Yahweh spoke unto Yeshua, the son of Nun, Moshe's minister, saying, Moshe, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that I have given unto you. Verse 3, every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moshe.
Mm-hmm.
From the wilderness and from this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moshe, so will I be with you. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
Amen.
Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shall you divide for an inheritance the land which I swore unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law which Moshe my servant commanded you. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wheresoever you go. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then shall you have good success.
But there was a clause in this contract here. It says in verse 8, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. You shall make your way prosperous, and you shall have good success. A lot of times we stand around and we pray about things and we wait for the Yahweh to do it. What's wrong with you? It's written in your law that you're God's, right? Okay. Go on to read, brother.
Yes, sir. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For Yahweh thy Elohim is with you, whithersoever thou goest. Then Yeshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, pass through the host, and command the people, saying, prepare you victuals. For within 3 days you shall pass over this Jordan, to go in to possess the land which Yahweh your Elohim giveth you to possess it.
Now pay attention to what you read, because the same things that happens in the book of Joshua and a lot of the things Yeshua and a lot of the things that happen in the law book are going to take place again. Okay. Chapter 3, and pick that up at verse 1, my brother.
Yes, sir. And Yeshua rose early in the morning, and they removed from Shittim and came to Jordan, he and all the children of Israel, and lodged there before they pass over.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass after 3 days that the officers went through the host, and they commanded the people, saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, and the priests, the Levites, bearing it, then you shall remove from your place and go after it. Yet there shall be a space between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure. Come not near unto it, that you may know the way by which you must go, for you have not passed this way heretofore. And Yahshua said unto the people, sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow Yahweh will do wonders among you. And Yahshua spoke unto the priests, saying, take up the ark of the covenant, and pass over before the people. And they took up the ark of the covenant, and went before the people. And Yahweh said unto Yahshua, this day will I begin to magnify you in the sight of all Israel, that they may know that, as I was with Moshe, so will I be with you.
Amen.
And you shall command the priests that bear the ark of the covenant, saying, when you are come to the brink of the water of Jordan, you shall stand still in Jordan. And Yahshua said unto the children of Israel, come hither, and hear the words of Yahweh your Elohim. And Yahshua said, hereby you shall know that the living Elohim is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Hivites and the Perizzites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Jebusites. Behold, the ark of the covenant of Yahweh of all the earth passes over before you into Jordan. Now therefore take you 12 men, verse 12, therefore take you 12 men out of the tribes of Israel, out of every tribe a man. And it shall come to pass, as soon as the soles of the feet of the priests that bear the ark of Yahweh, the Adonai of all the earth, shall rest in the waters of Jordan, that the waters of Jordan shall be cut off from the waters that come down from above, and they shall stand upon an heap. And it came to pass, when the people removed from their tents to pass over Jordan, and the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people, and as they that bear the ark were come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest, that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap very far from the city Adam, that is beside Zaratan, and those that came down from the sea of the plain, even the salt sea, fell and were cut off. And the people passed over right against Jericho. And the priests that bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh stood firm on dry ground in the midst of Jordan, and all the Israelites passed over on dry ground until all the people were passed clean over Jordan.
5 and 1.
And it came to pass, when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that Yahweh had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted. Neither was their spirit in them any more, because of the children of Israel. At that time Yahweh said unto Yahshua, make you sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time. And Yahshua made him sharp knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins. And this is the cause why Yahshua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt, that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of Yahweh, unto whom Yahweh swore that he would not show them the land, which Yahweh swore unto their fathers, that he would give us a land that floweth with milk and honey. And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Yahshua circumcised. For they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp, till they were whole. And Yahweh said unto Yahshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the self-same day. And the manna ceased on the morrow, after they had eaten of the old corn of the land, neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to pass, when Yahshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Yahshua went unto him and said unto him, Are you for us, or for our adversaries? And he said, No, but as a captain of the host of Yahweh am I now come. And Yahshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship, and said unto him, What says my Adonai unto his
So we
servant?
know that this was Michael as captain of the Lord's host. We knew that this is Michael that commanded 10,000 of Yahweh's saints that was there with Yahshua, don't we? Go ahead, brother.
Yahshua chapter 5, verse 15. And the captain of Yahweh's host said unto Yahshua, Loose your shoe from off your foot, for the place whereon you stand is holy. And Yahshua did so.
The same thing he told Moses, wasn't it? Loose your shoes off your foot, so we know who this is. This is the chief prince that stands up for the children of Israel. This is the angel that governs the whole earth. Go ahead, brother.
Yahshua chapter 6, verse 1.
See, it's easy to understand why brothers from other camps think that this is the Holy Ghost, not understanding that all of the angels of God are Holy Ghost. See, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 1. Now Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out, and none came in. And Yahweh said unto Yahshua, See, I have given into your hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And you shall compass the city, all you men of war, and go round about the city once. Thus shall you do 6 days. The 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns, and the 7th day you shall compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow with the trumpets.
Now, isn't it strange that we also have 7 trumpets in the book of Revelation that's going to be blown, that's going to pour the wrath of God upon this earth? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 5. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him. And Yahshua the son of Nun called the priests, and said unto them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of Yahweh.
Verse 15.
And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew with the trumpets, Yahshua said unto the people, Shout, for Yahweh hath given you the city. And the city shall be accursed, even it, and all that are therein, to Yahweh. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And you, in any wise, keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest you make yourselves accursed. When you take up the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel a curse, and trouble it. But all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto Yahweh. They shall come into the treasury of Yahweh. So the people shouted when the priests blew with the trumpets, and it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass with the edge of the sword. But Yahshua had said unto the two men that had spied out the country, Go into the harlot's house, and bring out from there the woman and all that she have, as you swore unto her. And the young men that were spies went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brethren and all that she had. And they brought out all her kindred and left them without the camp of Israel. And they burnt the city with fire and all that was therein. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of brass and of iron they put into the treasury of the house of Yahweh.
Chapter 7 and verse 1.
But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehudah, took of the accursed thing, and the anger of Yahweh was kindled against the children of Israel. And Yahshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth-aven, on the east side of Bethel, and spoke unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Yahshua and said unto him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor there, for they are but few. So there went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai smote of them about 36 men. But they chased them from before the gate even unto Shebarim, and smote them in the going down. Wherefore the hearts of the people melted, and became as water. And Yahshua rent his clothes, and fell to the earth upon his face before the ark of Yahweh until the eventide, he and the elders of Israel, and put dust upon their heads.
Why? Because he knew something was wrong. He knew that the children of Israel had violated God's law. Somebody had, and what it was doing was causing a problem in the whole congregation. And the same things happen with us. One person can sin and cause all of us a setback. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 7. And Yahshua said, Alas, O Adonai Elohim, why have you at all brought this people over Jordan to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites to destroy us? Would to Elohim we had been content and dwelt on the other side Jordan. O Adonai, what shall I say when Israel turneth their backs before their enemies? For the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land shall hear of it, and shall environ us round, and cut off our name from the earth. And what will you do unto your great name? And Yahweh said unto Yahshua, Get you up. Why do you lie in this manner upon your face? Israel have sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant which I commanded them. For they have even taken up the accursed thing, and have also stolen and dissembled also, and they have put it even among their own stuff. Therefore the children of Israel could not stand before their enemies, but turned their backs before their enemies, because they were accursed. Neither will I be with you anymore, except you destroy the accursed from among you.
In other words, put dead brothers from among you, right? Them that sin, rebuke before all, so others will learn to fear. And if they continue in that, then what do you have to do? You have to get them up out of here. See, go ahead and read. Whether you understand it or not, we look around and we see everybody and we know everybody, but let's understand one thing. The children of Israel is a holy people to Yahweh Elohim. And he is going to recompense anything that comes toward us, and he's that we do, simply because he has to purge out that old leavening to make us a new lump. How can we become sons and daughters of God and walk around in sin, full of doubt and full of misgivings and everything about stuff? Go ahead and read, brother.
Yeshua, chapter 7, verse 13. Up, sanctify the people, and say, Sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. But thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Israel. You cannot stand before your enemies until you take away the accursed thing from among you. In the morning, therefore, you shall be brought according to your tribes. And it shall be that the tribe which Yahweh taketh shall come according to the families thereof, And the family which Yahweh shall take shall come by households, and the household which Yahweh shall take shall come man by man. And it shall be that he that is taken with the accursed thing shall be burnt with fire, he and all that he have, because he have transgressed the covenant of Yahweh, and because he have wrought folly in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So Yahshua rose up early in the morning and brought Israel by their tribes, and the tribe of Yehudah was taken. And he brought the family of Yehudah, and he took the family of the Sarhites, and he brought the family of the Sarhites man by man, and Zabdi was taken. And he brought his household man by man, and Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah of the tribe of Yehudah was taken. And Yahshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray you, glory to Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what you have done. Hide it not from me. And Achan answered Yahshua and said, indeed, I have sinned against Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and thus have I done.
And he knew it. He knew what he was doing, right? So it is what? It is deliberate sin, isn't it? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 21. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it.
And we have to ask ourselves, what is our price? What will come up in our lives that'll make us turn our back on the true and living God for natural things? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 22. So Yahshua sent messengers, and they ran unto the tent, and behold, it was hid in his tent, and the silver under it. And they took them out of the midst of the tent, and brought them unto Yahshua and unto all the children of Israel, and laid them out before Yahweh. And Yahshua and all Israel with him took Achan the son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen, and his asses, and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had, and they brought them unto the valley of Achor. And Yahshua said, why have you troubled us? Yahweh shall trouble you this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones, and burned him with fire, after they had stoned him with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones unto this day. So Yahweh turned from the fierceness of his anger, wherefore the name of that place was called the Valley of Achor unto this day.
The place of that place is called the Valley of Achor unto this day, right? Let's go and pick up some more things about this Valley of Achor. Let's go to Hosea 1 and verse 10 through chapter 3 and verse 5. OC 1 and verse 10 through chapter 3 and verse 5. This is why I say it's nothing new under the sun. You just have to find what you're looking for. OC chapter 1 and verse 10 through chapter 3 and verse 5.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living Elohim. Then shall the children of Yehudah and the children of Israel be gathered together, and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come up out of the land. For great shall be the day of Israel.
Now remember now, the people are in the wilderness at this time, right? And they got America's been destroyed, and Judah's in the wilderness, and they're going to appoint one head and come up out of that wilderness, right? To go and possess the land of the city of Zion. But go ahead and read, brother.
OC chapter 2 verse 1. Say unto your brethren, am I, and to your sisters, Rehemah, plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked, and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother have played the harlot. She that have conceived them have done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, mine oil and my drink.
Right, corporate America. That's who I'm going after. I'm going after corporate America because they got what I need. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. Therefore, behold. Verse 6. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up your way with thorns and make a wall that she shall not find her path.
As it is this day. That's why we gather in troops in the whore's house. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake
She's gonna
them.
follow. We follow after these people, and every time we think we've gained something, they step a little further away from us, don't they? Don't they? They come up and give us something new to have to deal with, don't they? Go ahead, brother.
Last part, verse 7. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband. For then was it better with me than now.
But it's going to be too late for that. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 8. But she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal.
And these whorehouses are getting bigger and bigger. Everywhere you look, they're building up bigger whorehouses, aren't they? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 9. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness.
This is the time. This is going to be during the time of the great tribulation period. This is going to come upon our people. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 10. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of mine hand. I will also cause all her mirths to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Shabbats, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she have said, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me. And I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, says Yahweh. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Achor for a door of hope, and she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt.
Okay. Right back where they were when they first went into the land, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 16. And it shall be at that day, says Yahweh, that you shall call me Ishai, and shall call me no more Baali. For I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely.
And once he take those names from among us, we ain't going to be Jerry Brown and Joe Smith no more. We're going to surname ourselves after the name of Israel. Ain't that what Isaiah said? Go ahead, brother.
O.C. chapter 2, verse 19. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy.
Praise Yah.
I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know Yahweh.
Amen.
And it shall come to pass in that day I will hear, says Yahweh, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth, and the earth shall hear the corn and the wine and the oil, and they shall hear Yisrael. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, you are my people, and they shall say, you are my Elohim.
Amen.
Then said Yahweh unto me, go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of Yahweh toward the children of Israel, who look to other Elohims and love flagons of wine. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces of silver, and for an omer of barley, and for an half omer of barley. And I said unto her, You shall abide for me many days. You shall not play the harlot, and you shall not be for another man, so will I also be for you. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim.
And truly, today we are without these things. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 5. Afterward shall the children of Israel return, and seek Yahweh their Elohim, and Dawid their king, and shall fear Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days.
Amen. Now let's go and see what Isaiah had to say about this, brother. Let's go in Isaiah chapter 65 and pick that up at verse 1. Isaiah 65 and verse 1.
Verse 1. I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them that sought me not.
I am sought of them that wasn't even asking for me. See? Because you didn't know him. How can you ask for who you don't know? I am sought of them that ask not for me. I am found of them. I am found of them that sought, that wasn't even seeking me. All of us know what our game plan was before we came to NCCI, don't we? Go ahead, brother.
I said, look at me. Look at me.
Behold my works. See what I'm doing in the earth. I created all this stuff. It's me. Behold me, right? Behold my glory and my righteousness, which I'm going to give unto you. Go ahead, brother.
Unto a nation that was not called by my name.
Right. We were called what? Smiths, Johns, Americans, African Americans, everything, right? Niggers, possums, coons, alligators, everything, but Yahweh's holding with Hebrew Israelites, weren't we? Go ahead, brother.
Isaiah chapter 65, verse 2. I have spread out my hands all the day unto a rebellious people, which walketh in a way that was not good after their own thoughts. A people that provoke me to anger continually to my face, that sacrifices in gardens and burneth incense upon altars of bricks, which remain among the graves, and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, and broth of abominable things is in their vessels, which say, Stand by yourself, come not near to me, for I am holier than you.
Right, you can't talk to our minister. He has his anointing on him. Go ahead, brother.
These are smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day. Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silence, but will recompense, even recompense into their bosoms your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together, says Yahweh, which have burned incense upon the mountains and blasphemed me upon the hills. Therefore will I measure their former work into their bosom. Thus says Yahweh, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one says, Destroy it not, for a blessing is in it, so will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all.
Amen.
And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob, and out of Yehuda an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my servant shall dwell there.
Praise Yah.
And Sharon shall be a fold of flocks, and the valley of Achor a place for the herds to lie down in, for my people that have sought me. But you are they that forsake Yahweh, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for their troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and you shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, you did not answer. When I spoke, you did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that way, and I delighted not.
Right. This is the purging out of the wilderness, the purging of that 2/3 that he's going to purge out from among us, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 13. Therefore thus says Adonai Elohim, Behold, my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but you shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And you shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for Adonai Elohim shall slay you, and call his servants by another name, that he who blesses himself in the earth shall bless himself in the Elohim of truth, and he that sweareth in the earth shall swear by the Elohim of truth, because the former troubles are forgotten, and because they are hid from mine eyes.
Praise Yah.
For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be you glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build and another inhabit, they shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the works of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of Yahweh, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, says Yahweh.
66 and 15, brother.
For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse, shall be consumed together, says Yahweh. For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come to pass that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Spain, Paul, and Lud, that draw the boat to Tubal and Javan, to the isles afar off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my glory, and they shall declare my glory among the Europeans. And they shall bring all your brethren for an offering unto Yahweh out of all nations, upon horses and in chariots and in leaders and upon mules and upon swift beasts, to my holy mountain Jerusalem, says Yahweh, as the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of Yahweh. And I will also take of them for priests and for Levites, says Yahweh.
Okay, my brother, I don't want to go no further than that. Now, let's go back, and the only thing I wanted to bring out of that really was the fact that the thing that's going to take place begin to take place at the Valley of Achor. Let's go back to Joshua chapter 10. Joshua chapter 10, brother. Joshua chapter 10, and pick that up at verse 1.
Verse 1. Now it came to pass, when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Yeshua had taken Ai, and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done to Jericho and her king, so had he done to Ai and her kings, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel, and were among them, that they feared greatly, because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Yarmuth, and unto Yephirah, king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon, saying, Come up unto me and help me, that we may smite Gibeon, for it have made peace with Yeshua and with the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Yarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together and went up, they and all their hosts, and encamped before Gibeon, and made war against it. And the men of Gibeon sent unto Yeshua to the camp of Gilgal, saying, Slack not your hand from your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us. For all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. So Yeshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And Yahweh said unto Yeshua, Fear them not, for I have delivered them into your hand. There shall not a man of them stand before you. Yeshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up from Gilgal all night. And Yahweh discomfited them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Beth-horon, and smote them from Azekah unto Makkedah. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Beth-horon, that Yahweh cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. Then spoke Yeshua to Yahweh in the day when Yahweh delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand you still upon Gibeon, and you, moon, in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Yeshua? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of a man, for Yahweh fought for Israel. In a cave at Makkedah. And it was told Yeshua, saying, The 5 kings are found hid in a cave at Makkedah. And Yeshua said, Roll great stones upon the mouth of the cave, and set man by it for to keep them. And stay you not, but pursue after your enemies, and smite the hindmost of them. Suffer them not to enter into their cities, for Yahweh your Elohim have delivered them into your hand. And it came to pass, when Yeshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a very great slaughter, till they were consumed, that the rest which remained of them entered.
Okay, brother.
Verse 20. And it came to pass, when Yeshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a very great slaughter, till they were consumed, that the rest which remained of them entered into fenced cities. And all the people returned to the camp to Yeshua at Makkedah in peace. None moved his tongue against any of the children of Israel.
None moved his tongue against any of the children of Israel. Now remember when we was back up in the Genesis 9, right after the flood. Genesis 9, I think it's about verse 25, when Noah said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be, right? Black folks say, well, he cursed. That's when y'all was cursed black. No, it's not. That Israel had been servants in Egypt. And when they came out, after this battle here at Ai, all of the sons of, all of the kings, rather, the sons of Cush were coming what? Under the hammer of the children of Israel. They were becoming servants of servants. Yeah.
Was it all right for us to make a league with Gibeon, or did we supposed to slay them also?
They made the covenant with him, brother. They had to keep the covenant. Just like he told them not to make any covenants with the inhabitants of the land, right? Didn't they make a covenant with Rahab? Huh? When the man came up to Joshua and told him, Yeshua and told him what he had to say, didn't Yeshua make a covenant with him? Okay. Jake always been hard-headed, brother. Yeah. Go on and read from the top to the bottom. Yeah.
That myth right there, everybody thought that was what they would call God.
Mm-hmm.
That cursed you to be black. But that was Noah that was cursed
That's right.
That was the big myth that made everybody think you could be black.
Right. That was the whole thing, brother. We was already black.
Right.
The Africans was already black. You see, that's why he said, "Cursed be Canaan." He didn't say he's going to be black. Right. He didn't say he was going to be black. He said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be." And he became a servant to the children of Israel at and when Joshua smote Jericho and when he smote Ai. And when we get through with this, you're going to find out all 31 of the kings of Ham came kings of Canaan came under the auspice, the rulership of the children of Israel. All of them did. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeshua chapter 10, verse 22. Then said Yeshua, "Open the mouth of the cave, and bring out those 5 kings unto me out of the cave." And they did so, and brought forth those 5 kings unto him out of the cave, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Yarmouth, the king of Lachish, and the king of Eglon. And it came to pass, when they brought out those kings unto Yeshua, that Yeshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of the men of war which went with him, "Come near, and put your feet upon the necks of these kings." And they came near, and put their feet upon the necks of them. And Yeshua said unto them, "Fear not, nor be dismayed. Be strong and of good courage. For thus shall Yahweh do to all your enemies against whom you fight."
They don't have no power against us. The only way our enemy have power against us is that we give our enemies that power. The enemy, let's understand who the enemy is. The enemy is sin. And sin shall not have dominion over us unless we succumb to it through our own natural vanities. Go ahead, brother.
Verse
And ain't no sense in waiting around for Yahweh to bring you some power to withstand it. You had the power when you got your baptism. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 26. And afterward Yeshua smote them, and slew them, and hanged them on 5 trees. And they were hanging upon the trees until the evening. And it came to pass at the time of the going down of the sun, that Yeshua commanded, and they took them down off the trees, and cast them into the cave wherein they had been hid, and laid great stones in the cave's mouth, which remain unto this very
Right.
day.
And the reason why he took them down, because the law says you shall not leave the body of a man upon a tree until the evening. Verse 40, brother.
Yes, sir. So Yeshua smote all the country of the hills, and of the south, and of the vale, and of the springs, and all their kings. He left none remaining, but utterly destroyed all that breathed, as Yahweh Elohim of Israel commanded. And Yeshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea even unto Gaza, and all the country of Goshen even unto Gibeon. And all these kings and their land did Yeshua take at one time, because Yahweh Elohim of Israel fought for Israel. And Yeshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp to Gilgal. And it came to pass, when Jabin king of Hazor had heard those things, that he sent to Jobab king of Madon, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Aksaph, and to the kings that were on the north of the mountains, and of the plain south of Shinneroth, and in the valley, and in the borders of Dor on the west, and to the Canaanite on the east, and on the west, and to the Amorites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites in the mountains, and to the Hivites under Hermon in the land of Mizpah. And they went out, they and all their hosts with them, much people, even as the sand that is upon the seashore in multitude, with horses and chariots, very many. And when all these kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Meron to fight against Israel. And Yahweh said unto Yeshua, "Be not afraid because of them, for tomorrow about this time will I deliver them up all slain before Israel. You shall hog their horses and burn their chariots with fire." So Joshua came, and all the people war with him against them by the waters of Meron suddenly, and they fell upon them. And Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Israel, who smote them and chased them unto Great Sidon, and unto Misrephothmaim, and unto the valley of Mizpeth eastward. And they smote them until they left them none remaining. And Yahshua did unto them as Yahweh bade him. He hocked their horses and burnt their chariots with fire. And Yahshua at that time turned back and took Hazor and smote the king thereof with the sword. For Hazor before time was the head of all those kingdoms. And they smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was not any left to breathe. And he burnt Hazor with fire. And all the cities of those kings, and all the kings of them did Yahshua take, and smote them with the edge of the sword, and he utterly destroyed them, as Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, commanded.
Praise Yah.
But as for the cities that stood still in their strength, Israel burned none of them save Hazor only. That did Yahshua burn. And all the spoil of these cities and the cattle the children of Israel took for a prey unto themselves. But every man they smote with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, neither left they any to breathe. As Yahweh commanded Moshe his servant, so did Moshe commanded Yahshua, and so did Yahshua. He left nothing undone of all that Yahweh commanded Moshe.
Praise Yah.
So Yahshua took all that land, the hills, and all the south country, and all the land of Goshen, and the valley, and the plain, and the mountain of Israel, and the valley of the same, even from the Mount Halak that goeth up to Seir, even unto Baalgad in the valley of Lebanon, under Mount Hermon, and all their kings he took and smote them and slew them. Yahshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All other they took in battle. For it was of Yahweh to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them, as Yahweh commanded Moshe. And at that time came Yahshua and cut off the Anakims from the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, and from Anab, and from all the mountains of Yehudah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Yahshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. There was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel, only in Gaza, in Gath, and Ashdod there remained. So Yahshua took the whole land according to all that Yahweh said unto Moshe, and Yahshua gave it for an inheritance unto Israel according to their divisions by their tribes, and the land rested from war.
Amen. Chapter 14 and verse 1. Chapter 14 and verse 1. And when we do this thing again, then truly the whole earth would be at rest, and nobody's going to rise up against the children of Israel anymore until after the 1,000 years. Chapter 14 and verse 1.
And these are the countries which the children of Israel inherited in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest and Yahshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel distributed for inheritance to them. By lot was their inheritance, as Yahweh commanded by the hand of Moshe, for the 9 tribes and for the half-tribe. For Moshe had given the inheritance of 2 tribes and an half-tribe on the other side Jordan. But unto the Levites he gave none inheritance among them. For the children of Yosef were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. Therefore they gave no part unto the Levites in the land, save cities to dwell in, with their suburbs for their cattle and for their substance. As Yahweh commanded Moshe, so the children of Israel did, and they divided the land.
And the reason why they didn't give the Levites in the land, because Yahweh is the Levites' inheritance.
Right.
They own all the suburbs around the holy city of Zion, plus they had 19 cities of refuge that were priestly cities spread out throughout the land. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yahshua chapter 14, verse 6. Then the children of Yehudah came unto Yahshua in Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, said unto him, Thou knowest the thing that Yahweh said unto Moshe, the man of Elohim, concerning me and you in Kadesh Barnea. 40 years old was I when Moshe, the servant of Yahweh, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to espy out the land. And I brought him word again as it was in mine heart. Nevertheless, my brethren that went up with me made the heart of the people melt. But I wholly followed Yahweh, my Elohim.
Right, them same brothers has already inherited. They were the first ones to inherit their land. They couldn't wait to get into the land of Israel. They saw the land before Israel said, give us this land right here, this hour. Right. Same thing Lot did when he was with Abraham. Look out and saw that lush valley of Jordan, and what did he do? I want this land here. Right. Look at his land today. It ain't so lush today, is it? It's Transjordan. Go ahead and read, brother.
It says here in verse 4, now we know we have the 12 tribes.
Mm-hmm.
It says in verse 4, now I understand that it says Yahweh is the Levites' inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
But it says here in verse 4, for the children of yourself were two tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore gave they no part unto the Levites in the land. Was that to still make up, still had the 12 tribes?
Sure.
12 tribes. Okay.
The house of Joseph was one of the tribes.
Right.
Just like the house of Levi was a tribe. They was one of the 12 brothers.
Right.
But the Levites wasn't given a portion. Ephraim and Manasseh was given a portion of land.
Which still made 12
Which
tribes.
still made 12 tribes.
Right.
We
Okay.
still got 12 tribes.
Right.
And we got a royal house that's going to come up out of that, which is going to make us actually have 12 tribes in a royal house, the house of David. We'll get to that later on, though. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 9. And Moshe swore on that day, saying, surely the land whereon your foot have trodden shall be your inheritance and your children's forever, because you have wholly followed Yahweh, my Elohim. And now, behold, Yahweh have kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years, even since Yahweh spoke this word unto Moshe, while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day 85 years old. As yet, I am as strong this day as I was in the day that Moshe sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now, for war, both to go out and to come in. Now therefore give me this mountain whereof Yahweh spoke in that day, for you heard in that day how the Anakims were there, and that the cities were great and fenced. If so be, Yahweh will be with me, then I shall be able to drive them out, as Yahweh said. And Yahshua blessed him, and gave unto Caleb the son of Jephunneh, Hebron for an inheritance.
Okay, chapter 23 and verse 1, my brother. Chapter 23 and verse 1.
You know, Elder, as we read this great legacy for those individuals who may be here don't have the rudiments of the doctrine to where it motivates them to be excited and interested when we hear these stories, it may be a point to try to relate different characters that we read about to your own personal lives, to be able to draw some type of parallel and make this story interesting to you, because it's important to use the examples written aforetime to help to encourage us and show us how we should do things today.
Correct, brother. If you don't try to pattern yourself after some of these holy folks in here, you're going to be in big trouble.
Right.
All of this is written for an example that we should follow. So I think quite a few of the people that has any knowledge of God and trying to attain their salvation, they found a character in here that they tried to follow. A lot of us say, well, I tried to follow the Messiah. You know you don't. No, you don't. You can back up off that lie.
Joshua and Moses told you about that.
Right, you can back up off that lie. You can't serve God. He's holy God, you know. Go ahead, read, brother.
Yahshua, chapter 23, verse 1. And it came to pass a long time after that Yahweh had given rest unto Israel from all their enemies round about, that Yahshua waxed old and stricken in age. And Yahshua called for all Israel, and for their elders, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers, and said unto them, I am old and stricken in age, and you have seen all that Yahweh your Elohim have done unto all these nations because of you. For Yahweh your Elohim is he that have fought for you.
Praise Yah.
Behold, I have divided unto you by lot these nations that remain, to be an inheritance for your tribes, from Jordan with all the nations that I have cut off, even unto the great sea westward. And Yahweh your Elohim, he shall expel them from before you, and drive them from out of your sight. And you shall possess their land, as Yahweh your Elohim have promised unto you.
14.
And behold, this day I am going the way of all the earth. And you know in all your hearts and in all your souls that not one thing have failed of all the good things which Yahweh your Elohim spoke concerning you.
Amen.
All are come to pass unto you, and not one thing have failed thereof. Therefore it shall come to pass that as all good things are come upon you, which Yahweh your Elohim promised you, so shall Yahweh bring upon you all evil things, until he have destroyed you from off this good land which Yahweh your Elohim have given you. When you have transgressed the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, which he commanded you, and have gone and served other Elohims, and bowed yourselves to them, then shall the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and you shall perish quickly from off the good land which he have given unto you. And Yahshua gathered all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, and called for the elders of Israel, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers, and they presented themselves before Elohim. And Yahshua said unto all the people, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah, the father of Abraham, and the father of Nahor, and they served other Elohims. And I took your father Abraham from the other side of the flood, and led him throughout all the land of Canaan, and multiplied his seed, and gave him Esau. And I gave unto Esau Jacob and Esau, and I gave unto Esau Mount Seir to possess it, but Jacob and his children went down into Egypt. I sent Moshe also and Aaron, and I plagued Egypt according to that which I did among them, and afterward I brought you out.
Verse 14.
What chapter?
24 and 14.
Now therefore fear Yahweh, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the Elohims which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve you Yahweh. And if it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve.
Amen.
Whether the Elohims which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the Elohims of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh.
Praise Yah.
And the people answered and said, Elohim forbid that we should forsake Yahweh to serve other Elohim.
That's what they said. And they still had the gods among them.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 17. For Yahweh our Elohim, he it is that brought us up and our fathers out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, and which did those great signs in our sight, and preserved us in all the way wherein we went, and among all the people through whom we passed. And Yahweh drove out from before us all the people, even the Amorites, which dwelt in the land. Therefore we will also serve Yahweh, for he is our Elohim. And Yahshua said unto the people, you can't serve Yahweh.
You can't serve Yahweh.
Right.
He's holy God. You can't serve him. Y'all still got them gods among you. And every time something come up, here y'all up in my face talking this junk.
Right.
Go ahead and read, brother.
For he is a holy Elohim. He is a jealous Elohim. He will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins. If you forsake Yahweh and serve strange Elohims, then will he turn and do you hurt and consume you after that he had done you good. And the people said unto Yahshua, no, but we will serve Yahweh.
We don't care what you say, Yahshua. We know you the holy man, but we don't care what you say. We gonna serve Yahweh and Baal and everybody else around here. We gonna do like the Indians. We gonna have us a whole totem pole of gods.
We read, I forget one of those books we read where one of the nations, they served
They served their God and Yahweh too.
Gave tribute to Yahweh.
Sure, of course they did. We do the same thing.
Right. Well, brother, you know, it was a funny thing in a sense, because when we read about Moshe, it said that he didn't lose any of his force before he died. And then here Yahshua is saying, verse 11, yet I am as strong this day as I was in the day that Moshe came unto me, as my strength was then. And even now, even myself, I remember when I first met the elder, just seeing his strength, being a mechanic, you know, that, because you normally see those preachers, they soft and manly, camdy. And when I saw this brother, he was hard, cold, you know, almost gangster-like. And to see his physical strength, and then his leaders that Yahweh has chose to guide.
Be like that sometime, brother. Your strength, a man go out and lift weights every day. Tell my man, I'm making myself strong. I will look unto the hills from whence cometh my help. My help coming from Yahweh who made heaven and earth. Anytime you need strength for something, regardless to what endeavor it is, he's going to give you that strength. All you got to do is follow the guidance of the Spirit. Now, if the Spirit ain't never said nothing to you, you need to follow somebody else to follow. You need to find somebody else to follow. And a lot of us, the Spirit has never said one word to you, but yet and still know what we say. I deal with the Spirit. Right, you do. Go on and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeshua chapter 24, verse 22. And Yeshua said unto the people, you are witnesses against yourselves that you have chosen you, Yahweh, to serve him. And they said, we are witnesses.
We witnesses against ourselves. Right. We're going to serve him and everything else we want. We're going to serve him and then serve ourselves of him.
We're going to lie to you and Elohim.
Right. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 23. Now therefore put away, said Yeshua, the strange Elohims which are among you, and incline your heart unto Yahweh Elohim of Israel. And the people said unto Yeshua, Yahweh our Elohim will we serve, and his voice will we obey. So Yeshua made a covenant with the people that day, and set them a statute and an ordinance in Shechem. And Yeshua wrote these words in the book of the law of Elohim, and took up a great stone and set it up there under an oak that was by the sanctuary of Yahweh. And Yeshua said unto all the people, behold, this stone shall be a witness unto us, for it have heard all the words of Yahweh which he spoke unto us. It shall be therefore a witness unto you, lest you deny your God. So Yeshua let the people depart, every man unto his inheritance. And it came to pass after these things that Yeshua the son of Nun, the servant of Yahweh, died, being 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath Serah, which is in Mount Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gaash. And Israel served Yahweh all the days of Yeshua, and all the days of the elders that outlived Yeshua, and which had known all the works of Yahweh that he had done for Israel. Hallelujah. And the bones of Yosef, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried they in Shechem in a parcel of ground, which Yaakov bought of the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver. And it became the inheritance of the children of Yosef. And Eleazar, the son of Aaron, died, and they buried him in an hill that pertained to Phinehas his son, which was given him in Mount Ephraim. Going to Judges?
Yeah.
Now after the death of Yeshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked Yahweh, saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first to fight against them? And Yahweh said, Yehudah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Yehudah said unto Simeon his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites. And I likewise will go with you into your lot. So Simeon went with him. And Yehudah went up, and Yahweh delivered the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hand, and they slew of them in Besek 10,000 men. And they found Adonai-Besek in Besek, and they fought against him, and they slew the Canaanites and the Perizzites. But Adonai-Besek fled, and they pursued after him, and caught him, and cut off his thumbs and his great toes. And Adonai-Besek said, 70 kings, having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gathered their meat under my table. As I have done, so Elohim have requited me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and there he died. Now the children of Yehudah had fought against Jerusalem, and had taken it, and smitten it with the edge of the sword, and set the city on fire. And afterward the children of Yehudah went down to fight against the Canaanites that dwelt in the mountain, and in the south, and in the valley. And Yehudah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron before was Kiriath Arba, and they slew Shishak and Ahiman and Talmai.
2 and 1.
And an angel of Yahweh came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt and have brought you unto the land which I swore unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you.
And in the beginning, he said, look, I'm going to send my angel before you, but don't you provoke him, because he will not pardon your ways, right? Then the angel came to Joshua, right? Now here's the same angel coming back and said, look, I brought you out of Egypt. See? Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 2. And you shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. You shall throw down their altars, but you have not obeyed my voice. Why have you done this?
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their Elohim shall be a snare unto you. And it came to pass, when the angel of Yahweh spoke these words unto all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept.
Why? They still had all the other gods, didn't they? Verse 10, brother.
Yes, sir. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not Yahweh, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh and served Baalim. And they forsook Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other Elohims of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked Yahweh to anger. And they forsook Yahweh and served Baal and Ashtaroth.
And they're still serving Ashtaroth today. You Baal too? Yeah, you're right. None of their gods have diminished. They just gave them a whole lot of different names, that's all.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead. One called one god Saturn. Somebody else called him Jupiter. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 14. And the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies.
Right. And when we see ourselves falling down all the time and falling down all the time, and nothing we try works, we know why, don't we? Because we got a skeleton in our closet we need to get out.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 15. Whithersoever they went, the hand of Yahweh was against them for evil, as Yahweh had said, and as Yahweh had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, Yahweh raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a-whoring after other Elohims and bowed themselves unto them.
Right. You know what they say? Man, he man just like I am. You know what I mean? Ain't that what they told Moses? Man, you done made yourself altogether a prince over us, didn't you?
Right.
And did the same thing to Joshua, didn't he?
Right.
Here they are with the judges and everything, right? Every time Yahweh gives us a leader, what do? We walk around and say, well, I don't want to be led. I want to be my own leader. Right. Right. Up in here.
Up in here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless that leader is something that someone that the media and the Europeans have approved, all right?
If the Europeans give it to us, brother, we'll fall down. Didn't we follow Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King.
And everybody knows that it was the Kennedys who sent that money down to Selma to get that mess started. Right. Everybody knows that.
Farrakhan. You know, I didn't really realize it, but I was watching CNN one morning, and this European, this Caucasian, saying, you know, we got to quit. We got to have a discussion over sending money to other people that's calling us blue-eyed devils. So the government is funding money to the Nation of Islam, as long as they lying to our people, right?
Yes.
Brother, right there in New York City, aren't they putting money into the Islamic schools, huh? Louis Farrakhan has been in the United States government's pocket for years, brother. Why you think they don't do nothing to him about what happened with Malcolm?
Right, they had him on 60 Minutes, and he apologized to her daughter. They put him up to do that.
There ain't no sense in apologize.
Yeah,
he committed murder.
I didn't kill your father.
Yes, he did.
That is the government that's sponsoring the Muslims. Back in the 60s, they used to be the number one advocates to talk about the judicial and the prison systems and everything. Right now, they are locked in the prison systems. Matter of fact, Christians are the only ones that they'll allow in the prison
Yes, sir,
system.
brother. You know why? They got them both in their pocket, and they know it. They know it. See. Right. Right.
I have a cousin in jail for murder.
Right.
He's a Muslim.
Right.
90% of the brothers that go to jail come out talking that assalamu alaikum jump. Yeah. Go on and read, man.
Yes, sir. Verse 17. Judges chapter 2, verse 17. And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a-whoring after other Elohims and bowed themselves unto them. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of Yahweh, but they did not so. And when Yahweh raised them up judges, then Yahweh was with the judge and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented Yahweh because of their groanings by reasons of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass when the judge was dead that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers in following other Elohims to serve them and to bow down unto them. They ceased not from their own doings nor from their stubborn way. And the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he said, because that this people have transgressed my covenant which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Yahshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel whether they will keep the way of Yahweh to walk therein as their fathers did keep it or not. Therefore Yahweh left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Yahshua. Now these are the nations which Yahweh left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. Only that the generations of the children of Israel might know, to teach them war, at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. Namely 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Sidonians, and the Hivites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal-Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moshe. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their Elohims. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and forgot Yahweh their Elohim, and served Baalim and the groves. Therefore the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Cushan Hathaim, king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Israel served Cushan Rishathaim 8 years. And when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, Yahweh raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of Yahweh came upon him, and he judged Israel and went out to war. And Yahweh delivered Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand, and his hand prevailed against Cushan Rishathaim. Man, that's a name now, brother.
Yeah,
and
brother.
the land had rest 40 years, and Othniel, the son of Kenaz, died. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of Yahweh.
And every time they do evil in the sight of Yahweh, they do evil in the sight of Yahweh, they cry unto him, and he raised them up a leader, right? And soon as the leader turned his back and get out the way, they're doing something wrong again. Go ahead, brother. And nothing, Jake haven't changed. Go ahead, brother. The only thing changed by Jake is his situation and circumstance. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 13. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years.
Now, this is the second time they went into captivity. Remember, Yahweh told us, I'm going to put you in captivity 7 times. This is the second time. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 15. But when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, Yahweh raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gerah, a Benjamite, a man left-handed. And by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab.
Mm-hmm.
But Ehud made him a dagger which had 2 edges of a cubic length, and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. And he brought the present unto Eglon, king of Moab, and Eglon was a very fat man. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bare the present. But he himself turned again from the quarries that were by Gilgal and said, I have a secret errand unto you, O king, who said, keep silence. And all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from Elohim unto you. And he arose out of his seat. And Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. And the half also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly, and the dirt came out. Then Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. When he was gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor was locked, they said, surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber. And they tarried still, they that were, verse 25, and they tarried till they were ashamed. And behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor. Therefore they took a key and opened them, and behold, their Lord was fallen down dead on the earth. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed through the quarries, and escaped unto Zerath. And it came to pass when he was come that he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them. And he said unto them, follow after me, for Yahweh hath delivered your enemies the Moabites into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men, all lusty and all men of valor, and there escaped not a man. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. And after him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox goad, and he also delivered Israel. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of Yahweh when Ehud was dead. And Yahweh sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Europeans. And the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel.
It's the third time, right? Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 4, and Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time. And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramoth and Bethel in Mount Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment. And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abinoam, out of Kadesh Naphtali, and said unto him, have not Yahweh Elohim of Israel commanded, saying, go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with you 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun? And I will draw unto you the river Kishon. Verse 7, and I will draw unto you to the river Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will deliver him into your hand. And Barak said unto her, if you will go with me, then I will go. But if you will not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with you. Notwithstanding, the journey that you take shall not be for your honor, for Yahweh shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh.
Right, and he wasn't going unless she went. What it does is it show you that Yahweh used who he wants to, when he wants to do his work. Go ahead, brother.
But it also showed, too, that because he wouldn't go without that woman, he delivered the enemy into the hand of a woman.
Well, she told him that in the beginning. She told him that in the beginning when they first talked. She told him, man, this battle ain't gonna be for you, for your honor. He's going to deliver the woman into Sisera into the hand of a woman.
Exactly.
That before he even went. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and he went up with 10,000 men at his feet, and Deborah went up with him. Now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moshe, had severed himself from the Kenites, and pitched his tent unto the plain of Zaanim, which is by Kadesh. And they showed Sisera that Barak the son of Abinoam was gone up to Mount Tabor. And Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Harosheth of the Europeans unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which Yahweh hath delivered Sisera into your hand. Is not Yahweh gone out before you? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. And Yahweh discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his hosts with the edge of the sword before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. But Barak pursued after the chariots and after the hosts unto Harosheth of the Europeans, and all the hosts of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, and said unto him, Turn in, my lord, turn in to me, fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle. And he said unto her, Give me, I pray you, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink and covered him.
Right, give him that warm milk, brother. You know what that's going to do to him, don't you? Okay, go ahead, bro.
Verse 20. Again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man does come and inquire of you and say, Is there any man here? That you shall say no. Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent, and took an hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him, and smote the nail into his temples, and fastened it into the ground. For he was fast asleep and weary. So he died. And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came out to meet him, and said unto him, Come, and I will show you the man whom you seek. And when he came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead, and the nail was in his temples. So Elohim subdued on that day Jabin the king of Canaan before the children of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against Jabin the king of Canaan, until they had destroyed Jabin king of Canaan. Then sang Deborah and Barak the son of Abinoam on that day, saying, Praise you, Yahweh, for the avenging of Israel, when the people willingly offered themselves.
Amen.
Hear, O you kings, give ear, O you princes. I, even I, will sing unto Yahweh. I will sing praise to Yahweh Elohim of Israel.
Right, but he won't avenge you or won't deliver you until you offer yourself willingly. I'm not talking about just in voice. You have to offer yourself in your whole being to put the house of Yahweh first, because if anything comes before that, you got a big problem.
Right.
Yahweh would not take second best to nobody. I don't care how much you love somebody. Go ahead and read, brother.
Also dropped water. The mountains melted from before Yahweh, even that Sinai from before Yahweh Elohim of Israel. Amen. In the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were unoccupied, and the travelers walked through byways. The inhabitants of the villages ceased. They ceased in Israel until that I, Deborah, arose a mother in Israel. They chose new Elohims. Then was war in the gates. Was there a shield or a spear seen among 40,000 in Israel? My heart is toward the governors of Israel, that offer themselves willingly among the people. Bless you, Yahweh.
6 and 1. "40 years passed by after this now. Let's see what they did after 40 years. Go ahead, brother.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them dens, which are in the mountains, and caves, and strongholds. And so it was, when Israel had sown, that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites, and the children of the east, even they came up against them. And they encamped against them, and destroyed the increase of the earth, till you come unto Gaza, and left no sustenance for Israel, neither sheep, nor ox, nor ass. For they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers for multitude. For both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto Yahweh because of the Midianites, that Yahweh sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. Verse 8, that Yahweh sent a prophet unto them of Israel, which said unto them, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppress you, and drove them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am Yahweh your Elohim. Fear not the Elohims of the Amorites, in whose land you dwelt, but you have not obeyed my voice. And there came an angel of Yahweh, and sat under an oak which was in Oprah, that pertained unto Yeash the Abiezrite. And his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress, to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him, and said unto him, Yahweh is with you, you mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Adonai, if Yahweh be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, Did not Yahweh bring us up from Egypt? But now Yahweh hath forsaken us, and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. And Yahweh looked upon him, and said, Go in this your might, and you shall save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent you? And he said unto him, O my Adonai, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. And Yahweh said unto him, Surely I will be with you, and you shall smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in your sight, then show me a sign that you talk with me. Depart not hence, I pray you, until I come unto you, and bring forth my present, and set it before you. And he said, I will tarry until you come again. And Gideon went in, and made ready a kid, and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and brought it out unto him under the oak, and presented it. And the angel of Elohim said unto him, Take the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so. Then the angel of Yahweh put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes. And there rose up fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. Then the angel of Yahweh departed out of his sight. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of Yahweh, Gideon said, Alas, O Adonai Elohim, for because I have seen an angel of Yahweh face to face. And Yahweh said unto him, Peace be unto thee, fear not. you shall not die. Then Gideon built an altar there unto Yahweh and called it Yahweh Shalom. Unto this day it is yet an Oprah of the Abizites. And it came to pass the same night that Yahweh said unto him, take your father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years old, and throw down the altar of Baal that your father have, and cut down the grove that is by it. And build an altar unto Yahweh your Elohim upon the top of this rock in the ordered place, and take the second bullock, and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove, which you shall cut down. Then Gideon took 10 men of his servants, and did as Yahweh had said unto him. And so it was, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do it by day, that he did it by night. And when the men of the city arose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the grove was cut down that was by it. And the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. And they said one to another, who have done this thing? And when they inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, the son of Joash, have done this thing. Then the men of the city said unto Joash, bring out your son, that he may die, because he have cast down the altar of Baal, and because he have cut down the grove that was by it. And Joash said unto all that stood against him, will you plead for Baal? Will you save him? He that will plead for him, let him be put to death while it is yet morning. If he be a Elohim, let him plead for himself, because one hath cast down his altar. Therefore on that day he called him Yerub-Baal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar. Then all the Midianites and Amalekites and the children of the east were gathered together, and went over and pitched in the valley of Yisrael. But the Spirit of Yahweh came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Abiezer was gathered after him. And he sent messengers throughout all Manasseh, who also was gathered against him. And he sent messengers unto Asher, and unto Zebulun, and unto Naphtali, and they came up to meet them. And Gideon said unto Elohim, if you will save Israel by mine hand, as you have said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside, then shall I know that you will save Israel by mine hand, as you have said.
Now he don't believe nothing. Gideon don't believe nothing. The angel already come to him, right? Now he turned around. He saw what happened then. Now he turned around and said, well, look, I got this fleece here now. You got to give me a sign. Let me know. I'm scared. That's all they were saying. Right. Angel of the Lord tell you something, you better go do it. Verify nothing. It'll be verified when you finish with it. Yeah. Go ahead and read. That's why the angels had a problem with Jake, man, because Jake didn't want to do what they was told. The angels had to prove to Jake that they had the power. Go ahead and read, brother.
Were fearful of their lives. But now the Europeans see him oftentimes, and you know.
They just make an end. And people flock to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even see Mary all the time. People just drive all around, hundreds of people all around, just standing up, just looking. Where is she? Where is she? And before black folks used to see something, boy, they would run and ask questions about it later. And it's a good thing to do the same thing today.
On CNN, we're talking about they were trying to find, they were speculating that, and you can't read this anywhere in the scripture, that Yahweh instructed Noah to carry the bones of Adam onto the ark.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw it. Right. Right.
And these are some Europeans now. And when they would open the, when they claimed they had found the ark and they let it, showing the people, they're always Europeans.
They say they got the casket in the British Museum.
Oh yeah, but they won't let them see it now. They won't let them see it.
Right. Just like they dug up a man with his head cut off, and they say, "Oh, this John the Baptist."
Right.
Along with the ark, the ark of the testimony and the shroud of terror.
Right. Got all that junk here. White folks got all the goodies, and we ain't got nothing. Right. Right. And everybody flocking to it. Right.
We got all the fables.
Right.
They had that on the television last week. They had the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got it down in Ethiopia, right?
Sure.
This European, this white boy, said, "Let me see it." They brought him everything but the ark.
Right. I remember. Yeah, I saw
This is
that.
what it looked like, but we got the real one. We got it locked up.
Right. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, brother. Showed him everything in the land but the ark. So, no, you can't see that bad boy. Can't nobody see it but our priest. One man. Go on to read, brother.
Judges chapter 6, verse 38. And it was so, for he rose up early in the morning and thrust the fleece together and wringed the dew out of the fleece as a bowl full of water. And Gideon said unto Elohim, let not your anger be hot against me, and I will speak this but once. Let me prove, I pray you, but this once with the fleece. Let it now be dry only upon the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew.
This brother here needed some strong food, and not just one time. Right, see? Right, that's the way Jay do things. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 40. And Elohim did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew on all the ground. Then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them by the hill of Morah in the valley. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, the people that are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites. The people that are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand hath saved me. Now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000.
Now, a whole lot of folks. You see what happened? 2/3 of the people left, didn't he? 2/3 of the people left, didn't he? Go ahead, brother.
It shows that you don't need to be afraid of the big guy, and numbers doesn't matter when you're dealing with the Most High. Just go forth in your strength as long as you've been given the proper.
Do what you got to do, brother.
Yes, sir.
Do what you got to do, and don't worry about it, because the angels of the Lord are going to take care of his business.
Hallelujah.
Well, hell, I find that very ironic. We volunteer to go to the United States Army, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Don't care what they're doing.
Right, right.
Why, you know, whether they're at peace, we're going to get in that army.
Right. When you receive instruction, go ahead and do what you got to do, because you're going to have some mighty adversaries. I was listening to a tape yesterday when we were getting ready to move from Ralph David Abernathy out there on in Stone Mountain. That brother there raised so much hell. I told him, say, if you don't like it, get out the door. See, it was all about money. All about, oh man, that money. Man, look, I got my instruction. No, that's right. You got your instruction. I said, right, we're going to follow my instruction. If you don't like it, there's the door. See, still sitting there, don't you? Okay. Okay. Go ahead and read, brother. I don't think about poor folks. When I receive something, brother, what I do is I implement it. I don't care I don't care who getting a tizzy about it. If you don't like it, there's the door. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Judges chapter 7, verse 4. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for you there. Amen. And it shall be that of whom I say unto you, this shall go with you, the same shall go with you. And of whomsoever I say unto you, this shall not go with you, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and Yahweh said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shall you set by himself. Likewise, every one that boweth down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped, put in their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And Yahweh said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into your hand. And let all the other people go, every man unto his place.
Right. Let all these other people, let all these 9,700 people, let them go on about their business, which goes to show one thing, as Gideon always says. This congregation has never been about numbers. We've been about getting the job done. And believe me, we have some drum majors in this congregation for the Lord. You can believe that. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother. Right. Right. Don't want them uppity folks. Want some folks who's gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Right. Don't need them. Right. Them hecklers and rebellers and all that stuff. Don't need all that stuff. Send them niggas home.
Right.
Yahweh like that glory too, don't it, brother?
Of course he
Do
does.
things in small numbers, huh?
Of course he does, brother. Didn't he take one man, David, and subdue the whole Philistine army?
Right.
Okay. Go ahead and read, brother. Oh, yeah, brother, we need some more incense, too. Okay. Because it don't make sense to open up church and don't have no incense lit. Go ahead and read, brother.
Judges chapter 7, verse 8. So the people took victuals in their hand and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men, and the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley. And it came to pass the same night that Yahweh said unto him, Arise, get you down unto the host, for I have delivered it into your hand. But if you fear to go down, go you with fewer your servant down to the host. And you shall hear what they shall say, and afterward shall your hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went he down with fewer his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host.
Now, you know he couldn't have been a white boy going down there among all these folks, don't you? Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for multitude. And their camels were without number as the sand by the seaside for multitude. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow and said, Behold, I dream a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and smote it that it fell, and overturned it that the tent lay long.
Now, what this is going to show us, that dreams that are conceived in truth, they never die. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 14. And his fellow answered and said, This is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand hath Elohim delivered Midian and all the hosts. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel and said, Arise, for Yahweh hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers. And he said unto them, Look on me and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, it shall be that as I do, so shall you do. When I blow with the trumpet, I and all that are with me, then blow you the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, The sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. So Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the beginning of the middle watch, and they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets and broke the pitchers that were in their hands. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets and broke their pitchers, and left the lamps in their left hands, and the trumpets in their right hands to blow withal. And they cried, The sword of Yahweh and of Gideon. And they stood every man in his place round about the camp, and all the host ran and cried and fled. And the 300 blew the trumpets, and Yahweh set every man's sword against his fellow, even throughout all the hosts. And the host fled to Bethshittah and Zererath, and to the borders of Abel Meholah, and to Tabbath. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together out of Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of all Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers throughout all Mount Ephraim, saying, Come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Bethbarah and Jordan. Then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together, and took the waters unto Bethbarah and Jordan. And they took 2 princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb, and they slew Oreb upon the rock Oreb, and Zeb they slew at the winepress of Zeb, and pursued Midian, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon on the other side Jordan. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why have you served us thus, that you call us not, when you went to fight with the Midianites? And they did chide with him sharply.
Not understanding that Yahweh had told them, I don't need all these people. See, now, why didn't you call us? Didn't call you because didn't need you. Didn't want you to do it. That's why I didn't call you. You couldn't have been trusted to do what had to be done. That's why I choose these 300 men to take care of the job so I can show my mighty power.
Right.
The anger of Yahweh was kindled against David when he took census of all the fighting men he had because he looked at the numbers of the strength of Yahweh that he desired.
That was basically what it was. David wanted to know how many people he ruled over. How many people how many subjects I got. He didn't need to know that. All the Lord's people was the subjects.
Right.
He didn't need to know that. What do you need to know me Israel for? Like right now today, brother, I don't know how many members we got in church. You know why? That's not my job to know. My job is to teach. Yahweh knows. So you got a book, and you got names written, and I don't know who know all the names in that book. I could be standing up here teaching my name in the book. I don't know that, so, I ain't doing no counting. How many we got, that's what we got. Where's Midian at?
It was Shemites, wasn't it?
Go back up in Genesis. Anytime you have a problem with these people here, go in the 10th chapter of Genesis and you'll pick them all up. They were Shemites. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Judges chapter 8, verse 2. And he said unto them, what have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaming of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? Elohim have delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeb. And what was I able to do in comparison of you? Then their anger was abated toward him when he had said that. And Gideon came to Jordan and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him, faint yet pursuing them. And he said unto the men of Succoth, give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me. For they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And the princes of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna nigh into your hand, that we should give bread unto your army? And Gideon said, therefore when Yahweh have delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with briars. And when he went up thence to Penuel and spoke unto them likewise, and the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. And he spoke also unto the men of Penuel, saying, when I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. Now Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their host with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of all the host of the children of the east. For there fell 120,000 men that drew swords. And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in the tents of the east of Nobath and Jogbehah, and smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zebah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them, and took the 2 kings of Midian, Zebah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the host. And Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from battle before the sun was up, and caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him, and he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 75 men. And he came unto the men of Succoth, and said, behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, with whom you did upbraid me, saying, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna nigh in your hand, that we should give bread unto your men that are weary? And he took the elders of the city, and the thorns of the wilderness, and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth.
Right, drug them through them briars and thorns, huh? That let them know next time Israel asks you something, you better do it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Verse 17. And he beat down the tower of Penuel, and slew the men of the city. Then said he unto Zebah and Zalmunna, what manner of men were they whom you slew at Tabor? And they answered, as you are.
They were your brothers.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
As you are, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king. And he said, they were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As Yahweh liveth, if you had saved them alive, I would not slay you. And he said unto Jether his firstborn, up and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth. Then Zebah and Zalmunna said, rise you and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zebah and Zalmunna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule you over us, both you and your son's son also. For you have delivered us from the hand of Midian.
Verse 27. Yahweh didn't ask him to make no king. Verse 27.
And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in Ophrah, and all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which thing became a snare to Gideon and to his house.
The same thing happened with that brazen staff
Right.
that Moses made. The people went to whoring after that, didn't they?
Right.
Go ahead,
That's why
bro.
them paintings and stuff, you have to watch that kind
Of course you do.
Right.
That's why them white folks gave us all them paintings.
Right.
Them praying hands and all that stuff, you know, like you supposed to walk around like this all the time.
Folks gonna leave your house.
Praying hands.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, that kind of knocked down that Queen of Sheba thing because these are the men of Midian and they rode on camels. And she came to Solomon on camels.
Of course you did, bro. The Messiah told you where she came from.
Right.
You see, but you can't, you know folks are, you know Jake is. Jake done hewed him out something. Trying to pretend that Solomon was an adulterer and all that other junk. Well, the Queen of Sheba was and all that other stuff. And they had a son out of who came Menelik and Haile Rastafari and Haile Selassie, I, and all that other garbage. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 27. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in Ophrah, and all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which thing became a snare to Gideon and to his house. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more. And the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon.
Now, what this does, it shows you that you have to be very, very careful how you walk before the children of Israel, because you can get off into a lot of things and cause Israel to go to whoring after things that they shouldn't do. This is why I insist that this congregation knows everything that goes down. Every piece of information that goes in the street, it got to go through this congregation before it go into the streets. There's a reason for that. That way we won't cast a snare upon somebody else. Somebody will catch the error. Right. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 29. And Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house. And Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. Amen. And his concubine that was in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name he called Abimelech. And Gideon, the son of Joash, died in a good old age, and was buried in the grave of Joash, his father, in Ophrah of the Abizites. And it came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, that the children of Israel turned again, and went a whoring after Baalim, and made Baal-berith their Elohim. And the children of Israel remembered not Yahweh their Elohim, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. Neither showed they any kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had showed unto Israel. And Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem unto his mother brethren, and communed with them, and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it's better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. And his mother's brethren spoke of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem all these words. And their hearts inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, He is our brother. And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Baal-berith, wherewith Abimelech had vain and light persons which followed him. And he went unto his father's house at Ophrah, and slew his brethren, the sons of Jerubbaal, being 70 persons upon one stone. Notwithstanding, yet Jotham, the youngest son of Jerubbaal, was left, for he hid himself. And all the men of Shechem gathered together in all the house of Milo, and went and made Abimelech king by the plain of the pillar that was in Shechem. And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood in the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice, and cried, and said unto them, Hearken unto me, you men of Shechem, that Elohim may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them. And they said unto the olive tree, Reign thou over us. But the olive tree said unto them, Should I leave my fatness wherewith by me they honor Elohim and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? And the trees said to the fig tree, Come thou and reign over us. But the fig tree said unto them, Should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said the trees unto the vine, Come thou and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, Should I leave my wine, which cheereth Elohim and man, and go to be promoted over the trees? Then said all the trees unto the bramble, Come you and reign over us.
Anybody? Any of y'all come reign over us. Right. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 14. Then said all the trees unto the bramble, Come you and reign over us. And the bramble said unto the trees, If in truth you anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now therefore, if you have done truly and sincerely, in that you have made Abimelech king, and if you have dealt well with Jerubbaal and his house, and have done unto him according to the deserving of his hands, for my father fought for you, and adventured his life far, and delivered you out of the hand of Midian. And you are risen up against my father's house this day, and have slain his sons 70 persons upon one stone, and have made Abimelech, the son of his maidservant, king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother. If you then have dealt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal and with his house this day, then rejoice you in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if not, let fire come out from Abimelech, and devour the men of Shechem and the house of Millo, and let fire come out from the men of Shechem and from the house of Milo, and devour Abimelech. And Jotham ran away and fled, and went to Beer, and dwelt there, for fear of Abimelech his brother. When Abimelech had reigned 3 years over Israel, then Elohim sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem, and the men of Shechem dealt treacherously with Abimelech, that the cruelty done to the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which slew them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in the killing of his brother. And the men of Shechem set liars in wait for him in the top of the mountains, and they robbed all that came along that way by them. And it was told Abimelech. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, came with his brethren, and went over to Shechem. And the men of Shechem put their confidence in him. And they went out into the fields, and gathered their vineyards, and trode the grapes, and made merry, and went into the house of their Elohim, and did eat and drink, and cursed Abimelech. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, said, Who is Abimelech, and who is Shechem, that we should serve him? Is not he the son of Jerubbaal, and Zubal his officer? Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for why should we serve him? And would to Elohim this people were under my hand, then would I remove Abimelech. And he said to Abimelech, Increase your army and come out. And when Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of Ebed, his anger was kindled.
Now you see the treachery and everything that was going on among the people. The same damn things take place in here right after we have Holy Convention. Go on and read, brother.
Verse 31. And he sent messengers unto Abimelech privily, saying, Behold, Gaal, the son of Ebed, and his brethren be come to Shechem, and behold, they fortify the city against you. Now therefore, up by night, you and all the people that is with you, and lie in wait in the field. And it shall be that in the morning, as soon as the sun is up, you shall rise early and set upon the city. And behold, when he and the people that is with him come out against you, then may you do to them as you shall find occasion. And Abimelech rose up, and all the people that were with him by night, and they laid wait against Shechem in 4 companies. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, went out, and stood in the entering of the gate of the city. And Abimelech rose up, and the people that were with him, from lying in wait. And when Gaal saw the people, he said to Zebul, behold, there come people down from the top of the mountains. And Zebul said unto him, you see the shadow of the mountains as if they were men. And God spoke again and said, see there come people down by the middle of the land, and another company come along by the plain of Meonaim. Then said Zebul unto him, where is now your mouth, wherewith you said, who is Abimelech, that we should serve him? Is not this the people that you have despised? Go out, I pray now, and fight against them. And God went out before the men of Shechem and fought with Abimelech. And Abimelech chased him, and he fled before him, and many were overthrown and wounded, even unto the entering of the gate. And Abimelech dwelt at Arumah, and Zebul thrust out Gaal and his brethren, that they should not dwell in Shechem. And it came to pass on the morrow that the people went out into the field, and they told Abimelech. And Abimelech took the people and divided them into 3 companies, and laid wait in the field, and looked, and behold, the people were come forth out of the city, and he rose up against them and smote them.
Verse 52, verse 51 rather.
Yes, sir. But there was a strong tower within the city, and thither fled all the men and women, and all they of the city, and shed it to them, and got them up to the top of the tower. And Abimelech came unto the tower, and fought against it, and went hard unto the door of the tower to burn it with fire. And a certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head, and all broke his skull. Then he called hastily unto the young man his armor-bearer, and said unto him, draw your sword and slay me, that man say not of me, a woman slew him. And his young man thrust him through, and he died. And when the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they departed every man unto his place. Thus Elohim rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did unto his father, in slaying his 70 brethren. And all the evil of the men of Shechem did Elohim render upon their heads. And upon them came the curse of Jotham, the son of Jerubbaal.
13:1, brother. As long as you had that name, you didn't know that, brother?
Well, I knew he was a warrior. That's why I stopped off as part of the
You stopped it. You did the same thing I did when I took the name I took. You did the same thing, brother. And see, Yahweh didn't like that name too well. He changed it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Go ahead and read, brother. 13:1.
And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years. And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bare not. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto the woman and said unto her, behold now, you are barren, and beareth not, but you shall conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray you, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing.
Now, if y'all go ahead and read chapter 11, you're going to find out that a human sacrifice was made unto God because of something that a person let come out of his mouth. This is why you have to be very, very careful the things that come out of your mouth, because the things that come out of your mouth, being the children of the true and living God, they become vows. And when you don't live up to these things, then truly you're going to have some kind of trouble in the flesh. But this, anyways, what happened with this brother, he was so elated that he was winning the war. When he got home, he said, the first thing to come out of my gate, I'm going to sacrifice to the Lord. And his daughter came out. And the brother told her what he had said, and she didn't change words. She said, well, let me go and pay my vows. And then I'll come on back and do what she had to do. She went on and stayed, paid her vows, and came back, and they killed her. Went on to make a sacrifice simply because the brother had let these things come out of his mouth. Be careful what things come out of your mouth, because guess what? The angel of the Lord is writing those things down. And there's going to be a judgment pertaining those things. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Verse 5. For lo, you shall conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head. But the child shall be a Nazarite unto Elohim from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of Elohim came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of Elohim, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither did he tell me his name. But he said unto me, Behold, you shall conceive and bear a son, and now drink no wine nor strong drink, neither eat any unclean thing. For the child shall be a Nazarite to Elohim from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated Yahweh and said, O my Adonai, let the man of Elohim which you did send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. And Elohim hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of Elohim came again unto the woman as she sat in the field, but Manoah, her husband, was not with her. And the woman made haste and ran and showed her husband, and said unto him, Behold, the man have appeared unto me that came unto me the other day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him, Are you the man that spoke unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, Now let your words come to pass. How shall we order the child, and how shall we do unto him? And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, Of all that I have said unto the woman, let her beware. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. All that I command her, let her observe. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, I pray you, let us detain you until we shall have made ready a kid for you. And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, Though you detain me, I will not eat of your bread. And if you will offer a burnt offering, you must offer it unto Yahweh. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of Yahweh. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, What is your name, that when your sayings come to pass, we may do you honor?
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, Why do you ask thus after my name, seeing it is secret?
Right, I ain't going to give you my name. What I want you to do me some honor for. All this stuff come from God. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 19. So Manoah took a kid with a meat offering, and offered it upon a rock unto Yahweh. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of Yahweh ascended in the flame of the altar, and Manoah and his wife looked on it, and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of Yahweh did no more appear to Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was an angel of Yahweh.
Okay, so we know what we're getting off into now. Now we're getting off into the birth of one of the mighty men that judged Israel, and they've shown us some nice movies on this, Samson and Delilah. Now, of course, it showed us white folks, and it told us that they were well, it didn't tell us they was Hamites. They just showed us white folks. Anyways, we know that Samson did judge Israel, but Samson had a problem. And Samson's problem was women. Samson liked them African women, and he stayed down around them African women, and they caused him, Delilah, one of the Philistines, caused him his problem, caused him to get caught, and they cut off his hair and had him grinding. They used to have oxen. They had oxen to grind the meal, but they made Samson do it. But what they didn't do, they didn't pay no attention to the fact that Samson's hair was going back. And after Samson's hair grew back, then let's go ahead and pick that up here at chapter 16 and verse 23. I'll tell you what you do. Pick this up at verse chapter 16, verse 21, brother.
But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with feathers of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit, the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered themselves together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their Elohim, and to rejoice. For they said, Our Elohim have delivered Samson our enemy into our hand.
Now, we're going to pick up, now we're going to see what's going to happen to Dagon, what Samson's going to do to these people here. And then later on, you're going to find out these Africans are going to be still worshiping Dagon later on down the line. They never learn. You know why? Yahweh is not on their side. Go ahead and read, brother. Yeah. No, same God that the angels of the Lord threw down and broke off his head and his hand. Yeah, same one, brother. Yeah. Go ahead and read.
Verse 24. And when the people saw him, they praised their Elohim. For they said, our Elohim have delivered into our hands our enemy and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us. And it came to pass when their hearts were merry that they said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house, and he made them sport. And they set him between the pillars. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house was full of men and women, and all the lords of the Philistines were there. And there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto Yahweh and said, O Adonai Elohim, remember me, I pray you, and strengthen me, 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 and strengthen me,